Good evening, students. So, we are back with our revision videos, and today we are revising our amino acids, right? I will not say this video as a quick revision video because I have discussed every detailed thing about amino acids in this particular lecture. Uh, if you really want to score well, if you really want to solve every question of your NEET, then I will really appreciate if you practice more and more. You start practicing. Just reading will not solve the purpose, understanding will not solve the purpose till you will not practice yourself, right? So, amino acids, two words are mentioned here, amino and acid. Amino means it is showing that this molecule, this structure is having basic group, and acid, it means it is having acid group also. So amino acids, they are small organic molecules. They are, first thing, they are organic molecules. It means they are made up of carbon, hydrogen is there, oxygen is there, nitrogen is there. Even few of them, they also have sulfur also. We call them sulfur containing amino acids also. So they are basic units of protein and made up of carbon, made up of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, even sulfur. So these, you can say, these are the organic acids with carboxyl group as well as basic amino group. Now the carboxyl group present in these structure, it is responsible for, carboxyl group की property क्या होती है? It shows acidic property. So it is responsible for acidic property. Basic group, which is your amino group, it is responsible for basic properties. When we talk about the general formula, now we are saying it is having carboxyl group and amino group. So they are also known as substituted methanes because the valency of carbon is arranged by carboxyl group, then your amino group, and there is a variable functional group, and these all are present on a same carbon, which is known as alpha carbon. Alpha carbon is the one, first carbon, and here all the groups, they are present on the first carbon. So they are also known as substituted methanes because methane is CH4. So here H, these H, they are replaced by carboxyl, basic and variable R group. So amino acids, they are also known as substituted methanes. Basically, they are also known as substituted methane. Now there are 20 amino acids in present in our body, or you can say which are actually play a very key role, very important role in the protein synthesis. The number is very well specified. They are 20, means 20 amino acids are universal, which are universal in means they are present in virus, prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and they play a major role in protein synthesis. Although we know more than 200 amino acid is known to us, but in our body, the amino acids which play a major role in protein formation, that is 20 amino acids. When we classify amino acids, then the classification is based on, or their nature is based on the R group. Now few amino acids, they have very simple R group. Few, they have very large side chains. So on the basis of that, we have different classification of amino acids. First, let's see very simple amino acids which do not have any functional group in the side chain. Like your simplest one is glycine, alanine, leucine, valine. These are simple amino acid. The simplest one is glycine. This is the simplest amino acid. There is as such no functional group, only H is present there. The only methyl group is present there, that will be your alanine. Then there is hydroxymethyl, if it is present there, that will be serine, right? Now, after the simplest amino acid, there are acidic amino acids, there are basic amino acids, few are polar, few are non-polar, few are aromatic. Oof, how I am going to remember that? That question comes in mind. So first thing, you need to understand this word, Bapan. Bapan is the name of a boy. So we are going to classify that our amino acids can be basic, our amino acids can be acidic, our amino acids can be polar in nature, they can be aromatic with the cyclic rings, or you can say benzene ring. They can be non-polar also. Now, lots of classification, lots of amino acids, how to deal with them. 20 amino acids we have to deal with. So we are going to first talk about the story of this boy whose name is Bapan. Bapan and his art. We are going to remember basic and acidic amino acid with this boy. Bapan and his art. Okay, so Bapan was the boy who loves his art as God. Now, Bapan loves his art. L, lysine. His, histidine. A for arginine. These are our basic amino acid. Art. Loves his art. Acidic. As God. Bapan loves his art. Bapan loves his art as God. A for aspartic acid and G for, only look for the capital letters. A for aspartic acid, G for glutamic acid. So lysine, histidine, arginine. These are our basic amino acid. Aspartic acid and glutamic acid, they are our acidic amino acid. So our story number 1 is clear. Bapan and his art. So we learnt basic and acidic amino acid. Now let's talk about our polar amino acid, basically those which are polar in the nature. To talk about this, we have to learn or listen to another story, story number 2, that is about the sisters. You know, when there are two sisters in home, they always fight. So there is also, we have one girl whose name is Sarah. Mad girl, very fighting girl. She used to fight with her sister. So Sarah throws her sister to get aspirin. This line you have to remember. Sarah throws her sister to get aspirin. Sarah, let me write here. Sarah throws her sister to get aspirin. Right? Now, these are our polar amino acids. Sarah, S for serine, TH threonine, CY as cysteine, G for glutamine, A for asparagine, right? So this is about the polar. This is about from the story about the mad girl Sarah who throws her sister to get aspirin. Now there is the story number 3 to learn about aromatic amino acids. Okay, aromatic means we are going to talk about ring structures. Those who are having rings. So for that we have to remember fat tire. Fat tire. Right? We are not going to write fat. We are going to write fat tire. PHA, phenylalanine. T for tyrosine and this T for tryptophan. ट्रिप्टोफैन से याद हमेशा आएगा कि ट्रिप्टोफैन, tyrosine and phenylalanine. These are the 3 with the aromatic amino acid or with the benzene ring. The last story is about one professor and the president. There is one professor, his name is Professor Liu. Right, his name is Professor Liu. Now, Professor Liu is arrived at a valley ground to meet president. So you have to remember this. Professor Liu is arrived at valley ground at, we will not consider ground, to met the president. Professor, proline, Liu, leucine, is isoleucine, arrived, alanine, valley ground, valine, ground, glycine, to meet the president, methionine. Right. So Professor Liu arrived at valley ground to meet the president. Professor Liu is arrived valley ground to meet the president. So basically, out of these, valine is the neutral amino acid. Valine is the one which is neutral. So we have basic. Basic is lysine, histidine, arginine, and neutral is valine, and acidic is aspartic acid and glutamic acid. Now, this is all about polar, non-polar, as well as about the aromatic amino acid. But even on the basis of synthesis of amino acid as well as on the basis of requirement in the body, they are of 3 types: essential, non-essential, and sometimes we talk about semi-essential. Non-essential, very essential, something which is very, very essential. It means they are not easily present. It means not synthesized in the body. They have to be in your diet, to be provided through the diet. That is why we eat proteins, and when these proteins they break down into amino acids. That is why we say that you should eat proteins. They are building blocks of our life. Non-essential, not essential. They are synthesized. Our body can synthesize them either from the backbone of lipids or through the carbohydrate metabolism activities. Our body can synthesize it. So they are not essential. You don't need them in through the diet. You don't need them. Semi-essential, they are synthesized very slowly, or I will say partially in the body, but not that rate so that they can meet the requirement of the individual. So they are semi-essential. Arginine and histidine. They are the two which are semi-essential, very, very, very slowly synthesized in our body. Now, usually we say there are 10 essential amino acids and 10 non-essential, but we few books they keep them, and usually we keep two out of them, that is the semi-essential, which is your arginine and histidine, right? These two are our semi-essential. So for remembering, how to remember now which are essential, so we will take in picture of 10 amino acid which are essential. So for this, remember this line: try this VIP mol. Try. There is one amino acid which have these letters: tryptophan. So this is essential. Then is try this. Try this. This T is for threonine and his for histidine. So we know that histidine is semi-essential. So we are keeping it outside. Now VIP. V is for valine, I for isoleucine, P for phenylalanine. Mol, M for methionine, A for arginine, L for leucine, L for lysine. So these are our, out of this arginine is semi-essential. So we have 8 essential: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, phenylalanine, methionine, leucine and lysine. So what do you need to remember? Try this VIP mol, right? For non-essential, okay, very interesting. All of you must have seen Bahubali. All of you have seen. There is a one very famous character, Katappa. So Katappa's 3G: cysteine, alanine, tyrosine, asparagine, proline, aspartic acid, serine, glycine, glutamine, glutamic acid. These are our 10 non-essential amino acid, right? So the last here is, this was all about the classification, right? Now the last thing which is important in amino acid is Zwitterionic structure. Zwitterionic structure क्या होता है? When you dissolve your amino acid in aqueous solution, when you dissolve it, your carboxyl group of amino acid, what will it lose? H positive. And NH2 is present there. He is very happily ready to accept this H positive and it will become NH3 positive. So carboxyl loses and NH2 gains H positive. So overall structure becomes neutral because after losing H positive, it becomes negative in the charge, and after accepting one H positive, it becomes positive in the charge. But so the overall structure become neutral. So the structure or the molecule which contains both positive and negative charge, or you can say in the ionizable form, that structure is known as Zwitterionic structure. When you dissolve your amino acid in the aqueous solution at a pH, it will show ionizable structure in which you will get one positive charge and one negative charge group, which is known as Zwitterionic structure, right? So the other thing where we always get confused, that is peptide bond. So here I am introducing you to the first bond in this revision part, that is peptide bond. I want to join my two monomers, my two units of my two different amino acids with the different functional group. Here is my first amino acid, COOH. Listen to this very carefully. H and NH2. Here is the R1. Here we are taking COH plus NH2. So basically, when carboxyl group of one amino acid joins with NH2 of another amino acid, water is lost. What is left? CONH. So two amino acids can be joined with the help of peptide bond. So it means if I have to make a protein, I will join many amino acids, and there will be a polypeptide structure will be formed, and this polypeptide structure is known as a protein. Now as you can see, so in a protein or in a polypeptides, amino acids are linked by a peptide bond. And how is this bond we are forming? Carboxyl group of one amino acid and basic group of other amino acid, NH2 group of next amino acid with removal of water. So the process is known as dehydration. Because we are removing water, so process will be dehydration process. So amino acids, they are organic compounds which contain two major groups, amino group as well as acidic group on the same alpha carbon. That is why they are also known as substituted methanes, because they have four substituent groups with four valency position of alpha carbon. Right, this thing is clear to every one of you. So we discussed about peptide bond, we talked about our Zwitterionic structure, as well as we talked about classification of amino acid. In a next very short video, I am giving you a question bank so that you can solve a number of questions on the amino acid.